You are tuned into the showcase for the latest in aftermarket gear for anything that goes. If it makes your vehicle look good, perform better, or last longer, you'll find it here on Motorhead Garage. Welcome to another edition of Motorhead Garage presented by Top Coat. This show is supersized. We had to bring it outside because we've got this magnificent truck, and it is from our friends at Jones Performance. You know, trucks like these are the lifeblood of America, and it's important that they keep rolling, and nobody keeps them rolling better than the folks at Jones Performance. They're the leading manufacturer of aftermarket truck parts and rod. What kind of hoods, for example, do you guys cover?
Like you said, we build over 140 different models, anything from the Volvos to Sterling, Western Star, Freightliner, and many more.
And it's not just hoods, there's other things you build as well.
Right. We have a bumper line, chrome bumpers. We can build custom bumpers from that. Headlights, grills, fender extensions.
What's the range we're talking for parts? How old can the truck be?
We got stuff that goes back into the 60s, all the way up to current production.
How long have you guys been at this?
My grandfather and my dad started the business in my grandfather's garage in 1978, and it's just blown up into what it is.
You think you told me there's actually a model you make that your grandfather designed the mold for?
Yeah, there's actually a couple models that we still build that he built the mold. We're still running them.
And it starts with the design, right? How do you scan for the mold in the first place?
Well, we do use some scanning technology. A lot of it is just old school, hands-on. Our guys are good. I mean, I'd put them up against anybody in the country.
What kind of experience do your folks have doing this?
Most of the guys in the tooling shop have been there 20 plus years. You know, we got a lot of guys that have been there 30 plus years.
And from start to finish, once we start with the mold, what's the process you go through to manufacture a hood like this?
We build the master right in-house. All the surfaces are swept, so it's not just a pop off of an existing hood. We re-sweep everything. It's we call it precision bodywork.
And your quality control, of course, second to none, right?
Yeah, we've been ISO certified, Q1 certified for over 20 years.
And your customer support is what I really love. You call, you get an actual human being, somebody in the United States who's going to help you out.
Yeah. Most of the time you'll talk to our sales managers or our sales team. If they can't handle it, a lot of times it gets sent to me. You're talking right to me.
And there's also instructional videos. I've seen those online as well.
Yeah.
How to do all this. But if none of that works, if I've got some unique problem, what else have you done to help people?
We get it taken care of. I mean, no matter what it takes, I will jump on a plane and go somewhere and take care of it, whatever it takes.
All right, let's say I hit a deer or something, befalls me, and I need a hood immediately. What's the turnaround time from you guys?
Yeah, we keep over 400 hoods in stock, so generally everything ships either same day or at least the next day. We cover a lot of the older models. There's over 140 different models we have. Some of the stuff's outdated, some of it's current production.
So if I've got a truck that's 30 years old and something happens to it,
yeah,
and I need a new one, where else can I turn to find one?
Really nowhere. I mean, we build a lot of the models that are forgotten. The old LTL Fords and the Auto Max, you can't get those anywhere else.
And we got a chance to look under one of the hoods, and I noticed the lines are perfect. Underneath looks just as good as the top side. How does that whole process work?
Everything's an open molded process, sprayed up polyester fiberglass, and then it's bonded with a polyester bond. And then we take it a step farther and actually chop over top of all the infrastructure, the bond lines, and that's what really nails it down.
When you're talking mechanical work or installing accessories on a vehicle, I'm going to need lots of hardware, right? It's going to be lots of trips to the hardware store.
Not necessarily. We try to send as much hardware with it as we can. Things like the hinge bars and the rear cap supports are pretty much standardized, so whenever we can do that, we try to put that in there.
I've seen a lot of add-on things, a lot of aftermarket stuff where you have to measure and you're having trouble lining everything up. How do you make that easier?
We go through a process in our tooling shop. Our specs are held to an 1/8 inch tolerance. We measure everything that's out there in the field. We actually build cab fixtures to fit all of our hoods. We spot check them from time to time. And all of our numbers are controlled. Nothing gets out of our door without being inspected, and we try to build everything right to center of spec.
So you ensure that I'm getting a quality piece to begin with. If I have an issue with it, what kind of warranty do I have?
There's a 2-year warranty against any manufacturing defects. Nothing gets out of our door without being inspected. Every critical dimension is taken that we know within an 1/8 inch that this hood's going to fit. And if it doesn't, you get a hold of us.
Well, Jones Performance is a place to go if you want to keep your truck running, looking great for another 30 years like this piece back here. You can check them out at jonesperformance.com. We are going to keep on trucking right here at Motorhead Garage, presented by Top Coat, so don't go anywhere.
Motorhead Garage, presented by Top Coat, is brought to you by Magic Creeper, the most versatile creeper ever. FFR Fabrications, custom tubing for off-road vehicles. Fuel Addicted Motorsports, order from the guys you ride with. And by Top Coat, make life easier.
This is Motorhead Garage presented by Top Coat, and I'm trying to figure out why this Jeep isn't starting. Oh, there's your problem. No, actually, we're putting an LS motor in this thing, and while we get that sorted out, why don't you take a look at a segment from our sister show, Performance TV. This one's from the Wayback Machine, hosted by funny car driver Tommy Johnson Jr. and our old friend Kathy Fisher.
Whether it's a go-kart, late model, sprint car, drag car, or off-road like our rock crawler we have here, Rod End Supply has something for you. And Bob Douglas, thank you for joining us here today. You do everything from what we're seeing here to even going into space.
Yes, we make a wide variety of products for a wide variety of applications.
Absolutely. And as we've seen before, but I want to remind folks, the principle behind what makes Rod End Supply work so well, last so long, and keep the dirt out.
Yes. What we do is we have a one-piece body. The ball is inserted into the slot, and then we injection mold the nylon fiber material around the ball. It keeps the dirt out. It's self-cleaning, self-lubricating, doesn't beat out like a Teflon liner would. And it doesn't get really loose and free like a two-piece type rod end.
Right, like, you know, like some of the stuff that we've seen on our rock crawler we have in here today. I mean, this is bad.
Very bad.
And you have something for all different types of applications. Like we even mentioned some of the ones, you have a lot to choose from in your catalog, but you have a lot of one-offs that you've done special for companies as well.
Yes, we've done quite a few different one-off pieces before. We make a part for the NASCAR industry, which uses our nylon fiber construction, but it's got a high misalignment ball in it that we developed by pressing stainless steel spacers in it that do not come out. We've also done some other things. This happens to be a part that we made for the SpaceX program, and this goes on their rockets.
Wow, like I said, even going into space. But speaking of space, this thing likes to try to get through specific spaces and crawl around on rocks. Hey, why don't you go over there, Bob, and see if Tommy could use a little help and get some expertise on changing those out.
Hey, Tommy, how you doing?
Doing good. I got things loosened up. I just want to break this jam nut loose before I pull it out. Makes it a lot easier. There we go. All right, got that loose, so it'll be easy to get it off once we get the bar out of there. Now, the key to making the suspension work well, the rod end's got to move. Everything's got to work and move smoothly, and rod ends can be a big factor of that, can't they, Bob?
Absolutely.
We got to pull this nut off, and then we're ready to take that out. What I like is you don't have to disassemble everything to change the rod ends. All right, we're getting there.
Need any more help over there, Tommy?
Oh, we're just about there. There we go.
Ah, okay.
Fell right out. All right, all we got to do is pull this bar down and spin this out, right?
Yeah.
Boy, it is a little worn out, isn't it?
Now, the high misalignment spacers that we're using in that is the stainless steel.
Yeah, I'm going to pull them out while I put it in, make it easier so I don't lose them.
Yeah, the ones that came out of there were a mild steel, which they work as well too. The stainless steel doesn't rust, which makes it nice.
All right, now how long is a life expectancy on a rod end? Let's say on a rock crawler like this.
They should last at least one season unless they get broke from an accident or
Abuse.
Yes.
Nobody ever abuses anything, do they?
Oh, not at all.
All right, we'll put these back in there, slide it up, and put a bolt back in.
Might have to persuade it a little bit with your hand.
All right, what was on there? Well, yeah, we're close.
I was gonna say it looked like it was starting to go. So.
Yeah, zip in there. Look at that, fell right in.
All right.
All right, we'll put our nut washer back on here. And then once I get it all tightened up, I'll tighten the jam nut, right?
Good idea.
Get it all on there, all right. Now, I'm gonna run this jam nut down, tighten it up, make sure everything swivels good, nice and free.
Right.
Before we finish tightening, right?
Yep. And then we can always replace the other end too.
Oh, we got plenty more to replace.
Oh, yes.
Now, if you're removing lug nuts with an impact gun, that's fine, but installing them, you don't want to do that. I'll show you a better way. But first of all, let me tell you why. Well, the alloys and the wheels and the rotors are so thin today, you're going to actually warp the rotor. That leads to disc thick variation, and bam, you get some pedal pulsation. Not a good thing. Well, the first thing you can do is you can go out and get an actual torque wrench like this one here, set it up, put it on here, and go ahead and torque it. That's pretty easy. But you want to understand a torque pattern prior to doing that. And I have one here. You can take a look at this graphic. If you have 4, 5, 6, 8, whatever the number is, just go in a star pattern, go around so you're distributing that torque equally. And then you can just come back, put it on here. I got an assistant up in the car holding the brake or the wheel would spin. You can do it on the ground as well. And just pull it down till it clicks, or in our case, it beeps. I'm going around in that star pattern. Once I go around, I'll go to all of them in that star pattern and I'll torque it. Now there's also torque limiting adapters or torque sticks. If you're in a shop, this is quick. They're different thicknesses and they flex. Real easy to use. I'm going to take the 100 one out. Just go ahead, pop it on the gun. When you pop it on the gun, you can go ahead and put the wrench on there. And when you put the wrench on there, you'll do the same thing. You can hit it with a gun now, it'll flex, you'll be good to go.
Do not go anywhere because we have lots more Motorhead Garage presented by Top Coat coming up right after this.
Motorhead Garage, presented by Top Coat, coming to you from Borla Commerce Park.
We are in the Motorhead Garage Studios, and we are presented by Top Coat. Proud to be here in the mountains of Tennessee in the beautiful Borla facility. We've got a great studio here that they provide for us, and the building here is magnificent. It's a really cool place to work, and last year I got to talk to the owner of the joint. Alex Borla is our host, and I can tell you he knows exhaust, which we'll talk about later. But Alex, you know cars, and this is a 2019 Ford GT. You know a lot about the Ford GT. Tell us about your history with this vehicle.
Well, my history with this vehicle goes back to the late 60s, early 70s with Carroll Shelby and that whole group of guys that I really enjoyed very much. And I had the opportunity to spend quite a bit of time with the original GTs. And there's quite a transition in technology and time between all the cars. But they have captured the actual essence and the spirit of the original car with this 19 car. Okay, they did an incredible job.
How much has it evolved? What systems have improved?
This car is so far ahead of anything else, anything else, that it takes a while to get it to soak in. I had an opportunity to spend half a day at the factory watching them build this very car and others, and just witnessing all the care and all the engineering and all the sophistication went to this car is incredible. To me, the most outstanding component of this car is the suspension. It's got two completely separate suspensions. It's got coil springs for the road, it's got torsion bars for the track, yet with all this sophistication, the unsprung weight is held down to a minimum because there's no suspension parts other than a little heim joint controlling the corner in any corner of the car. So this is an incredible accomplishment.
What sets this apart from other GTs that are out there?
I think the only thing that really sets this car apart from any other GTs of the same year is the fact that the employees who built this car actually went through the trouble and signed the front hood for us. I had the same thing done for the 06. I had the opportunity for them to sign it as well, and I think it personalizes the car by having the signatures.
Another thing that's unique to the GT is when you take delivery, as you did a few weeks ago, you get a tutorial, you get a class as Ford sends a representative.
It's an experience. The car is delivered to your home or your business, whatever you want. A well-informed young gentleman who's an ex-race car driver who knows the cars comes with it. He's extremely polished, he's very knowledgeable, and you get a tutorial in how to basically manage the buttons and the components of the car. It's an experience.
And you know exhaust, as we talked about. Now, what have you done to modify the exhaust on a GT that already has a fabulous exhaust system?
We were able to take our latest technology we have patents on. One is the polyphonic technology, which basically emulates a pipe organ in a church that we basically put into an exhaust. Also a cross-flow header system, a cross-flow balanced pipe system, for lack of a better word, that also attenuates and it basically enhances the performance of the vehicle. So we're able to package both of those technologies into a titanium system for this car. The car is powered by a V6 twin turbocharged vehicle, and we were looking to see if we can get it to sound like a V8. Because the only objection that people have to this car is the fact that it's not a V8. So we built an exhaust that you actually get the sound of a V8 out of this car.
Now, what are your plans with the car from here on out?
It's going to go to California. It's going to get wrapped. It's going to get some graphics on it.
And then when you get it back in your hands, you're going to drive the heck out of it, right?
The heck out of it.
What's your philosophy on collector cars? You have a number of them. Do you like to, are they trailer queens for you, or how much do you drive them?
You can't have a trailer queen in a car. It's not a painting you can hang on a wall, okay? If you leave it in your garage, it's going to sink into the concrete.
Is the car going to come back here?
The car eventually will wind up back here.
When do I get to drive it?
I don't know, sometimes this fall, late fall.
Well, you heard it right there.
Absolutely.
He said I could drive it, so hopefully we'll have more of that coming up. At least I'll have some for my collection.
You can definitely do it.
That's fantastic. We appreciate your being here. Alex Borla, you can check them out on their website, and they've got a lot of great products for your car, whether it's a Ford GT or you either got an old Toyota, whatever you got banging around, Borla can help you out.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll have more Motorhead Garage presented by Top Coat coming up after this.
Motorhead Garage, presented by Top Coat, is brought to you by Stage 8 Fasteners, home of the world's best locking header bolt. Locking kits now available for all turbo applications. Go to stage8.com. RockAuto.com, all the parts your car will ever need. Clamp Tight, the clamp making tool. And by Tribotex, make your engine last longer.
Here at the headquarters of NHOU Protective Coatings, it's a magnificent facility. We've got a training area, a service area, a laboratory right across the way, Joe, where your products are constantly being developed and evolved. But this all started from very humble beginnings. How did it all start?
Yeah, it all started with me desperately trying to save my own pickup truck. It was a diesel truck, 2006 F-250. 8 years later, I'm replacing all kinds of parts due to corrosion. Very little miles on the engine. I knew this was going to be the problem, but nobody had any solutions. I wasn't willing to sit back and take it.
It's pretty amazing times right now. Engines will last 300,000 miles, but not so much on the body.
Engines will go quite a while. The body panels are very thin, and the corrosion that you experience from the liquid brine is intense.
So now we fast forward. You got rid of your old truck. It was time to start with a new truck, this one right behind us, and you started off on the right foot right away.
Yeah, this truck is the same age, same driving habits. The only difference is we've been diligent with our annual undercoatings, and you'd be hard-pressed to find rust on this truck, which adds value and safety. NHOU really is the quickest, least expensive way to add value and safety to your vehicle.
Well, let's talk about safety. You get the underpinnings of the truck rusting out, suspension parts rusting out. That's not a very safe condition for you and your family when you're going down the road.
It's not. There's a lot of structural deficiencies, and people don't know it. They're driving around, and many times they find out when it's too late. You know, they go in and fail an inspection.
And of course, that means more maintenance if you do fail the inspection. If you're lucky enough to get to that point, you're putting more parts onto it. But the thing I really like is it maintains the resale value of your car.
Residual value, yep.
Cool.
You walk in, you're going to make your money back. It's a very easy formula to figure out. It makes sense.
Excellent. You can check them out at NHOilUndercoating.com to find out how they can save and protect your vehicle.
Time now for the lowdown with Magic Creeper.
UTV owners, you are going to love the Magic Creeper. It has all kinds of uses for you. If you have a two-seater, you can shove it right between the seats and take it along with you. If you got a four-seater like this one, you can strap it into the back here. And when you need it, the Magic Creeper is ready. Now, before you hit the trail, of course, you're going to want to check your tires, make sure everything's inflated properly. You can use the Magic Creeper as a kneeling pad. I know it sounds silly, and it's so simple, but imagine being out there on the trail. There's roots and rocks and sticks and all kinds of things, hard ground, or if you're doing it in your driveway before you go, you'll be very thankful for the Magic Creeper. You'll be able to do everything with ease, and your knees are going to be very happy. Now, once you're out there on the trail, think of all the hazards you get into. You've got sticks and all kinds of debris getting up into maybe the A-arms on the suspension or the springs. A lot of stuff there underneath the frame. And once you're driving along, that could be a hindrance. So if you have the Magic Creeper, just bring it along with you, and you can just get under the vehicle anytime you need to. And again, even when it's rolled out like this, simple as that, there's no way you're going to take a regular creeper along with you. The Magic Creeper can go along on top of rocks, it can go over roots, it can go over any kind of obstruction you might have out there, and you can do it without hurting your back. And certainly a traditional creeper, there's no way it's going to roll on all those surfaces. So all you have to do to get under your UTV is slide under in the Magic Creeper, and you can take a look whether you need to remove debris, you need to make a repair. The Magic Creeper, super easy. Take it along with you when you hit the trail. The Magic Creeper is a family-owned company. It's a small company, and there's no better time to support small companies than right now. So be sure to go check them out. Look for the original Magic Creeper. We have told you how Tribotex can protect your engine and how it can bring an old engine back to life. But one other important thing it does, it protects your engine from heat. So Pasha, tell me how Tribotex can manage the heat inside my engine.
Heat can rob you of the power in the car, but heat mostly dissipates through the cylinder walls into the coolant. When you cover the top of the piston with the protective thermal barrier coatings, they increase your power, but don't do it with the cylinder walls. Tribotex is a ceramic nanoparticles with two different sides, applied to walls of a cylinder and retain heat inside of the engine. So when heat that's supposed to go in the coolant through the cylinder walls retains in the piston, it pushes more of it down and generates more power.
It's taking the heat inside the cylinder so the fuel can burn more efficiently, is that right?
Not just that. Heat generates pressure that pushes down your cylinder. The more heat you get inside of the cylinder and less you lose to the coolant, the higher power you get at the end of the shaft.
So you've got more power and more efficiency as well.
That's correct. And no other competitive technologies address the heat aspect of the engine.
How much heat are we talking and how much more efficiency are we speaking of here?
Even small differences in the heat retention generate huge difference in the output because they work on the thermodynamic cycle before even losses. Even small amounts of heat retained inside of the piston generate substantial increase in the power because it goes in the thermodynamic cycle before even losses taken into account.
Well, it's a simple way to get more performance out of your engine and higher efficiency, and you can make it last longer too. Tribotex.com will tell you how. Well, the clock on the wall says we are out of time, but don't you worry. We'll be back again next week. In the meantime, if you have something you'd like to see featured on our show, please email Jeff at masterstv.com. You can also check us out on Facebook. Motorhead Garage presented by Top Coat will return to the airwaves next week at the same time. We will see you then.